10 ways the narcissist devalues through text message. We avail ourselves of the use of technology through all various stages of the narcissistic dynamic with you, and the period of devaluation is no exception. Whether you are the primary source in the sustained devaluation, or a secondary source, or even a tertiary source receiving a corrective devaluation, we will use technology to devalue you. This is commonly done through the sending of text messages. They, of course, can be text, social media message, or email, and they are those poisoned arrows that are shot towards you and land, hitting the target. We use these text messages because it's so easy for us to do so. It really is a simple task of typing that message, whether we happen to be at home, in the office, sat waiting for a plane, or in a queue of traffic. It might be prompted by something you have done, your telephone call to us, or a text message from you, or perhaps we've seen you walk past where we're sat in that queue of traffic, i.e., you have entered a sphere of influence and caused a Hoover trigger. Sometimes we just happen to think about you, or we're reminded of you. And again, there has been a Hoover trigger, and our narcissism determines that we need to assert control over you, and, in the circumstances, our narcissism has dictated that the appropriate way of doing so is to send you an unpleasant text message of some sort. This is done to directly assert control over you, draw fuel from you, and is our way of devaluing you. Devaluation is a method of controlling you and drawing fuel from you. Devaluation is a method by which we obtain the prime aims from you. Devaluation is, of course, punishing you. But in the mind of the lesser or the mid-range narcissist, that is not always prevalent. Instead, the lesser or the mid-range narcissist is more likely to regard it as a response to your unpleasant behavior, seen through the narcissistic perspective. Remember, lesser and mid-range narcissists in particular regard themselves as the victims, and that they're merely responding to your provocation. They see your behavior as a provocation because of their narcissistic perspective. We can unleash these text messages of devaluation from anywhere, and it can be done at any time in accordance with the provisions that I've just explained, and then we reap the reward of the assertion of control and the provision of fuel. Sometimes the fuel arises as a consequence of the response that we receive from you by the message that you send, or that you might ring us, or indeed turn up in person. Other times it is gathered through thought fuel, as we envisage your reaction based on what we know of you. In some instances, we receive a combination of both proximate and thought fuel. Proximate fuel is where we witness your reaction. The beauty of using a text message to devalue is that there is very little energy expenditure, which enables us to preserve our energy to continue to assert control over all sources in our fuel matrix. Remember, control is key. It's swift, and given the ubiquity of mobile or cell phones, there's a very good chance you'll be next to your phone and you will receive this message. Here are 10 ways that we use text messages against you to devalue you. Number 1, the barren periods. We have, through the extensive and exciting messaging we engaged in during the golden period, created an expectancy on your part to receive messages from first thing in the morning until last thing at night, and at regular and repeated intervals. You have become used to this, and then, all of a sudden, it dries up. You send a message to us in the hope of generating a response, but there is nothing. You send another, just in case the first did not somehow get through. There is nothing but silence. You wait and try to do something else, but you cannot concentrate because you keep looking to your phone, hoping for that message to appear but it does not. Many hours may pass, perhaps a day, until you either happen to bump into us or we deign to finally respond. You can expect the replies to be along the lines of, "There was no signal where I was. There must be a fault with my phone as I never received any messages. I did reply. Didn't you get it? All your messages have just come through now. That's why I messaged when I did. I ran out of credit. I ran out of battery." Of course, all of these responses are a further assertion of control through denial and deflection. These are just further manipulations. They're rolled out to pull the wool over your eyes. The failure to respond was an instinctive response of the lesser or mid-range, or a conscious and calculated response of the greater or the ultra. Either way, it's designed to assert control over you by ignoring you, the third assertion of control. Invariably, we also ignore you because we're busy with somebody else. Number 2, the raised hopes. We will make an arrangement with you suggesting that we go out to dinner tomorrow evening or attend that new play you're excited to see. You look forward to spending time with us, alter your other arrangements, you put yourself to time and expense in preparation for whatever event it is, and then at the last minute we cancel, either with no excuse or half an excuse, and then we fall silent. This is an act of devaluation, and if you want to understand the greater detail as to what's behind all of that, listen to Why Do Narcissists Cancel Arrangements? 3. The wrong recipient. You receive a message which is clearly meant for someone else. It might be using a nickname that is unfamiliar to you, confirming an arrangement when you knew of none to be confirmed, thanking you for a wonderful evening when we didn't even see you that evening, or any other number of combinations where the content of the message is at odds with what you know. It is actually sometimes a mistake because this was meant for somebody else rather than you, but in some instances, allowing this to be sent to you is done as an act of devaluation, to let you know basically that there are other individuals on the docket, not just you. Number 4, the Vitriolic Volley. A straightforward, nasty barrage of insults set in the form of text messages. The content will be savage and hurtful, and you will have no or little idea why the messages are being sent or what they actually relate to. You will be accused of being a slut when you have always been faithful, or wasting money when you've always been careful with it, or not caring about us when you've just done something especially loving. The words will be barbed, picking on your weakness and vulnerabilities. And it is often done when you've gone out without us, or you have friends around without us being invited. This is a reaction to the wounding caused by you going off with other people, and it is a short and sharp method of upsetting you in a quick and as possible manner, and is all about asserting control over you. Number 5, the afterthought. We tell you what we are doing, and happen to mention that you might like it as well, even though now, given the late notice you've been given, that it is now impossible for you to join in. In effect, we give the appearance of being pleasant to you, although it's utterly meaningless. Typical messages will read, "Great party at Harry's, you would love the music here. I'm at Portofino's with Hannah, the food is just your type of thing." Plus, who the hell is Hannah, by the way? "I'm watching U2, they're awesome. You like them, don't you? We know full well that U2 is your favourite band. Why didn't we invite you along?" You are left upset as you are missing out on something that you would enjoy, and also hurt because we've done it without you. You would have wanted to attend. The reference to what we are doing now devalues you because you ought to have been there. Number 6, the mirror. This doesn't appear as though it is actually a poisonous message because its content is pleasant, and it is when it is sent that is of relevance. When you're going through a period of devaluation, and then you receive messages which appear to provide a respite period from the nastiness, be warned, you and somebody else are getting the same messages. Thus, if we have been unpleasant to you for a number of weeks, and then you get a message stating, "I miss you, I love you, I wish you were here with me," it will lift your heart But understand, notice there's a generic quality, a lack of personalization, and the out-of-the-blue quality denotes that you and your prospective replacement are both receiving this message from us. Double assertion of control, double fuel, hedging our bets. Number 7, the backhander. It may seem like a pleasant message, but it's not. This is usually sent to emphasize our importance and denote the pleasant and apparent pleasantry in our message by causing it to appear second best to the rest of what we have written. Examples would include, I miss you, but I am so busy closing this massive deal at the moment, i.e. the deal is more important than you. I hope you're well, but I'm focused on beating my time for the half marathon, so lots of training at present. The half marathon is more important than you. I was thinking about you as I was polishing my new car. Polishing the new car is more important than you. That entertained me because somebody just entered my 6th sphere of influence. One of my former IPPSs was devalued with that very text. Number 8, the false hope. You receive a blank message from us following a period of silence, and this causes you to respond, pleased to have received even this crumb of apparent comfort, and thus you respond to it. We deny messaging you, or suggest it must have been done by accident, the text equivalent of the but dial. It was done instinctively, with lesser or mid-range, calculated where greater or ultra, for the purpose to assert control, and we also picked up on just how quickly you replied to us as well, signalling control. Number 9, the forewarned silent treatment. You are told we will not be available to contact. The reason given is not because we are travelling or engaged in meetings or such like, but rather will be explanations such as, don't message me for 48 hours. I need to do some thinking. I need some space, so I won't be in touch for a few days. I'm feeling pressured, so just need some breathing space. Don't contact me until I contact you. Aside from gaining thought fuel at your disappointed and concerned reaction, this is being done to assert control over you, and most of all, that you don't get in the way and interfere with our control over the new person that we're seducing. Number 10, the false emergency. We send a message asking you for your help with something, and you feel pleased to be involved as matters have been decidedly icy between us for a few days. Are we now starting to thaw by asking you for help? You respond straight away, but you are then told that it does not matter since Joe or Helen or Angela has already come to our aid, lent us the onion, changed the tyre, etc. There was no incident which required your help or help from anybody. We wanted to see how quickly you would respond to our control, and then we garner fuel from both your perceived and witnesses' responses. This sudden sending of the text is done in the instant, so with the lesser or mid-range narcissist, it isn't planned. They just send it, driven by their narcissism, which says, see how quickly they'll respond to it. The narcissist doesn't know that they're seeking your control. What they're doing is they just feel as though they're testing you to see your loyalty. That much they'll be aware of, but they will not know the real reasons it's being done. The greater or ultra, of course, will know the reason why this is being undertaken. And there you have it. 10 ways that we devalue you by text message and the varying categories. So now you understand what was going on when you received text messages of that nature. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.